Hello YouTube, I'm back. First off, I apologize for the poor video quality. I'm kind of in a hotel at the moment. Anyway, I figured since I'm in quarantine, I might as well make a couple videos. So, I hope y'all are well during this pandemic and that it's not affecting y'all too terribly. Alright, so my question is, what is a refresh rate? Well, there is a short answer and a long answer. So, let's get into it. Alright, so your short answer is that the frame rate is the rate of information being supplied to the monitor. Now this is where the main difference between a refresh and frame rates begin, but there's more to it than that. So stick around for the full explanation. In gaming, you can see the frame rate if you try to run a game your PC can't handle, like I tried to run Crysis on this Mac. The frame rate will drop, causing it to look choppy. That's because your PC can't supply a smooth number of frames, generally at least 50 FPS or frames per second, to the monitor. So you're able to see that static pictures are being supplied to you, instead of a nice, smooth video. A frame rate is the rate of information or pictures being supplied to the monitor from a source, such as your computer's graphics card. Now, for a history lesson in video, the first types of movies were silent films. And the beginning ones had around 16 to 24 frames per second. Since they were silent, some variation in frame rate was tolerated. But even later silent films had their frame rate increased to around 20 to 26 FPS. Now that was all well and good for silent films, but once film with audio was introduced in 1926, the variations were no longer tolerated, because the human ear is much more sensitive to changes in frequency. Therefore, a standard was developed of 24 frames per second for most movies. Now, the problem with a low frame rate is not so much that it looks choppy unless it's 120 frames per second. No, it looks choppy because the frame rate is changing instead of constant. This video is 24 FPS. And in case you were wondering, I did find this GIF on Wikipedia. I do say GIF, not GIF, because that's grammar. Anyway, kind of a tangent here, but the fact that Wikipedia exists is possibly my favorite part of the internet. Now, some people argue that it should not be used for research. Yep, at the bottom of the page you can find all the references you need. And it's a great way of double checking your information if you are unsure. Alright, tangent over. So you can see this video is honestly acceptable for most people. It doesn't look terribly choppy, and it's only 24 frames per second. Even crazier is that it's only 12 drawings, meaning that for every 2 frames, only 1 drawing is shown. Most movies today are still shot in 24 frames per second, though some directors are experimenting with higher frame rates, all the way up to 60 frames per second. I could go into a lot more detail about film frame rates and the history. That would be an extremely long video. Alright, so now you know what a frame rate is. I'm planning on making a video about refresh rate and then discussing the differences between frame rate and refresh rate. But until then, I hope y'all are doing well and stay safe. And do not forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thank y'all. Have a great evening.